Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I'm not captain, but we're talking about a captain. I was going to say captain, but I'm still not a captain. This is true. Commander Cousins.
Sorry about that. But we're talking about my favorite subject today, and that's myself, because we're talking about the captain. So,
But the question is, how many holograms do you have to do your menial tasks? Do you have a
oh.
ECH, but emergency cooking hologram, or EM, emergency massage hologram?
I would have all the holograms. However, I wouldn't have them looking like myself, I don't think. That's just me. But, yeah, you guessed it right, guys. We're here to talk about Rios, the new captain from Star Trek Picard. Well, I guess he is a captain of his own ship, but he's, was a commander in Starfleet.
He's as much a captain as a guy that buys a ship and says, I'm captain as the captain.
Well, if you have a ship, you're a captain.
Exactly,
So
yeah. No, exactly, that's what I mean.
yeah.
You know, like Firefly is just like, I'm a captain because I say I am. No, and I'll start first because, as you know, Stuart, and the audience knows from our lives, that to me in the trailers, it's hard to get a sense of feel from trailers and such. And he just came across as a bit of a dick, playing that rogue, but in a let's belittle our characters sort of way. And that some people like Han Solo or Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly, they got the charm right. They got the level, or Star Lord, they've got that right. He didn't have that at all for me in the trailers. Now in the actual episode, that was nowhere near what it was sort of implied to be. At least to me, what I got, he was certainly some of that, but the implication of is of where he could go really turned that around for me. So while he didn't impress me particularly, but he wasn't given the most to do, I saw potential in the character and where he could go.
I called it going into it. If you remember the prediction, I said I'm probably going to like this guy, and I certainly do so far. Like I said, he's probably lining up to be one of my favorite characters in Trek.
Really?
In Trek.
Because that,
Yeah, I like him so far, and I'm sure I'm going to love him in this show. So
it's funny because Will Wheaton said that the new Picard's XO, he says, Will Wheaton said, "Oh, I think you're one of my favorite characters of all Trek," and I'm like,
I know.
what a
I remember
ballsy
that.
thing! There's like hundreds of characters. What a weird thing to say. Like, that felt very kiss assy. And you said one of my favorite characters. Like, there's hundreds, and like, really? I mean, wouldn't you like Tom? If you like this sort of rogue, Tom Paris is much more interesting and nice.
I love Tom Paris as well. Yes, he's on my favorites list.
Although I guess you say one of my favorites. You mean like top 30? You don't mean like, because when I say favorites, I assume like top 5, and it's like there's.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, that's why I say favorites is like.
He's just going to be a character I'm going to enjoy watching.
Okay, so you're over exaggerating a little bit, Stuart. What of your most enjoyable top?
It's going to be my favorite. He's going to be my favorite from this show, probably.
Okay, so that's a good clarification.
But yeah, I'm super impressed with them so far. I do love the idea of the holograms. It's a little bit strange, but if he only trusts himself, which a lot of people like that do, that's fine. And also his history with Starfleet, like that really intrigues me. That history scrubbed his ship from the records, and his captain had their brains and blood all over the bulkhead. I'm interested in that story, and the fact that he's not. I guess he is a little bitter with Starfleet, but he's still very, very Starfleet as far as the way he operates his ship, and that I like that. I think that's it's good. It's not like he's a. You find a lot of these characters like him are slobs. It's just kind of that cliche of they just toss everything around and somebody else comes in and cleans up after them. So I kind of like that they didn't do that standard thing.
No, I agree that the backstory raised him to a new level because that's intrigue, and gives us more canony potential fun and a new ship maybe. And then the idea of him still, he can never not be Starfleet. Like a lot of veterans leave the service and then they come home and they can never quite adjust to the non-regimented life of the service. And so he's been, I mean, commander's a pretty high rank and he's not exactly a spring chicken. So he was probably in the service for 35 years, at least sort of 20, 30 years. I mean, long enough to really have that be who he is. And even from what I gathered, he was proud of who he was and unhappy with how he and his crew were treated, but not of the institution, which I like the distinction there. It's not I hate Starfleet, it's I hate what Starfleet has become or did to me, not the ideas of it. And that line, he's not angry about, that's good, because Starfleet is a good thing. The Federation is a good thing. Yes, there can be things that go wrong with it, but it's a good thing. And so having people just hate it for the sake of hating it. It's like the Picard's XO. the reason she got fired, I mean, some of that stuff just doesn't make sense, and it's sad reasoning, but it's just we have to get her to this place, so let's not really give her the, his seemed a bit more thought through, which was good. And so having a ship that's regimented is a good thing, and could lead to some fun reveals within that. Like I said to you before, I really hope this ship has like secret phaser strips that have been hidden, and I'm just a freighter that can't take care of itself. Oh look, my quantums are ready.
Yeah, I can definitely see some sneakery in that regard. I'm also wondering how many emergency holograms he has. So
All of them.
Navigational one, right? he has the full house, the full package. I just thought that was an interesting take on the character, to have holograms that are basically himself, and have them give him advice that he doesn't listen to. It's like, yeah, I have those conversations all the time with myself, but I can't deactivate them, unfortunately.
What it showed me is that the actor himself actually has chops, to play an Irish and English and himself in several scenes, and to feel so different is refreshing, because he's not just being defined in my brain as this rogue, and like I say, he wasn't as bad as I thought he was going to be, but having the actor play very interesting alternates really fleshes out, it's the material he's given, and the potential to grow is huge, because he obviously has a range. It's like when Brent plays Data and Law, and he can hold a scene as both characters, which is digital effect, and he can hold the scene. That's impressive. So the fact that this guy could hold a scene flawlessly was excellent, and yeah, that could be, the potential is huge.
Well, the other thing about the character I like is, I'm not sure if I like it. It's interesting because the ship is called La Sirena, which is the siren, and he's also got a big tattoo of a mermaid on his one arm. So they were the sirens that drew sailors to their deaths in the jagged rocks, right? It's really interesting that all ties in together. So there's probably a story there somewhere as well. Like, there's a lot about this character that I think we're going to get revealed about that. I also like the fact that he's kind of opposed to dermal regenerators, just so he can have scars. At least I assume that's the reason.
Yeah, but although the joke is, since this is the future, you can also remove scars in about 2 minutes. So
yeah, probably.
There is no long-term, well, if I don't heal it now, it'll never be... No, you could remove them if you want to. This season of Picard is very slow, but we do kind of think it was a little bit stretched. These first 2 into 3 kind of has that slight vibe. But there's already so much potential story to be told. But we know it was sort of designed as a multi-series story, multi-season story. Interesting him and his backstory, like you're saying, might get reveals, but we've only got 7 episodes left where he is not even remotely the primary story, like not in any way, shape, or form. And so to give time to his storyline, when we're not doing episodic, every episode should focus on the main story, because that's the point of this sort of serialized thing. It's a continuing story, and Picard is the hero, not this guy. So I'm wondering if that really is just the tease for later seasons, or if she picked him because he was maybe the Romulans. You could link it all together, and that's why she picked him. But I don't even know if we're going to even slightly touch on that, because do we really have time? With all these levels, you've got Picard, you've got Picard's history, you've got his illness, you've got Soji, you've got Darge, you've got Brent B4, you've got potentially Law, you've got Data's brain, you've got the Borg cube, you've got the reclamation, you've got Hugh, your Hugh story, you've got all these massive levels. You've got the Android rebellion, and you've got the evacuation, and you've got Spock theoretically. They're mentioning him. All these storylines. And the Jack Vash, and maybe Sealer. It's a very crammed season, and yet nothing's happened. It's a weird thing. They keep introducing little things. So I'm assuming that's going to be like a season 2 thing.
Maybe. I think his character is going to kind of get explained just quickly in a conversation with him and Picard, or him and somebody else. It's just going to be like what happened on the Starfleet vessel. It's fine. That's the way I think. It's not going to delve into him necessarily, but
it sounded so interesting.
Yeah, I hope they don't waste too much time on him necessarily, depending on the story. But you're right. For the 3 episodes we've got, there's been a lot of filler and a lot of moments kind of wasted and not building towards the overall story, which is disturbing a little bit. I think Raffi knows Picard very well, obviously, and she picked him, Rios, specifically because he was in Starfleet, was an XO, has that Starfleet background and training. She assumed that Picard and him would get along great, and I think that's the main reason for choosing him specifically.
Or that, but add on the level of like how Riker to Picard keeps him on his toes, that he can also say no. You don't want. I mean, Chakotay was never used that much, and often just said yes to what Janeway said. Whereas you think about Riker, and you think a bit more of a, no, I don't think you should do that. A bit more of an interplay. So I love the fact that he's obviously got this reverence for the famous Jean-Luc Picard that you read his book. That he's obviously a fan.
He's certainly likable, and he certainly came off well in the small time that he was given so far. He made a good first impression. So guys, make sure that if you want to help us out and support the show, please head on down to Patreon. Link is in the description, or head on over to Trekyards.com, click the donate button, or just join us for our lives. We do lives every week, and super chats are a great way to help out the show and be part of the discussion. So lots of ways to help us out, but there are free ways as well.
Just watching the videos goes a long, long way. We make content for you to watch. It is important. And subscribing to the channel if you do like it. But that bell notification, or that bell icon, that is the important thing, because YouTube sucks in many ways. So click that. That's important. And our lives, they are free to come join and be part of the community. But if you want to super chat, that is the thing that keeps us going. And we tend to do them at 10 p.m. GMT, 5 p.m. Eastern. So just happen to go onto YouTube and say, oh, look. They are live. Click, click. Oh, no, I watched for 2 hours. Oh, dear. It's a lot of fun, guys. It really is.
It is. So, anyway, guys, put your thoughts down below what you think of Rios, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, I'm Captain Foley. I'll give you a promotion just for the end of this video. So say, I dubbed thee Captain. There you go. Now you can say your outro.
And I am Captain...